Namaste, beautiful yogis. I am here with a very quick video. I was thinking to do a live on Instagram. I don't even think I've ever done live. It took me 10 minutes to figure out where the live button is, and then I thought, I'm gonna do a video on a subject that is probably not going to be interesting to a lot of the Instagram people I have on Instagram. In general, it's not going to be very interesting to everybody because it's more of a narrow subject. So I figured I would just shoot what I know, a video for YouTube. Someone asked how in these times, I'm studying astrology, I'm opening up to astrology, how do I narrow down my focus? Where do I look in the chart to just know how to navigate through the times and use the chart as a tool, as a little bit of a guide or a tool to show me where I can put focus on. Because when we study ourselves, even though everything is within, we can utilize all the tools available to us, especially the high frequency tools. Astrology tends to be in the zone of higher mind. It always gets you out of the greedy mind if you use it properly. Improper use of astrology is when we judge things as good or bad. Bad alignment, bad astrological alignment, that to me is, or when we judge other people on their sign and so forth, that's just not understanding astrology. But when we get into the purity of astrology, we use it as a language. Now, with every language, with any language, we need to learn the language in order to be fluent in it. So when you study English, for example, then eventually you're going to build your own sentences, right? You're not going to have preset sentences that you can use like a robot. Same with astrology. You have to get the basics of astrology, the language of astrology, what means what, but then there is an infinity in how you interpret things. That's where you use your intuition and it becomes poetry, rather than rules and how it a way you're supposed to read it. It's just a language. You're reading a map of possibilities. So in these times, if you're studying astrology a little bit or a lot, where do you look in the chart to see how you should navigate through these times, where you should focus in your life, where you should expand, learn, etc. in your life? There is no single way to answer this question because astrology is complex and it's not going to be the same answer for everybody, but things you can look at. I, for myself personally, have noticed that I have really laid heavily on my North Node. Something I really resisted in my, up until I was 32, I think I resisted the North Node. To me, it was yucky. Oh, it was absolutely disgusting, the idea that I'm going to be practical, routine-oriented, simple, etc. That was absolutely unacceptable to me as a very strong 12th house person with South Node in Pisces. I just wanted the more like the more fluid feeling of life, the more dissolved, removing yourself from the world and not caring about the nitty-gritty of the world, just feeling things from the higher perspective. But my North Node is asking me to be in Virgo, to be in the world, to do simple small things, very practical things in the world, daily things, daily actions, in order to serve my own expansion. My expansion is through, in a way, it's through contraction, which is so funny. But when you go from South Node of Pisces to North Node in Virgo, that is contraction in a way. That is just a word though, because you're always expanding when you're moving towards your Dharma in North Node. So one way to look at what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to work in the world, is check out your North Node by position, house, and by sign. I just spoke about my North Node. That doesn't mean that that is it. You're done. You figure out where in the chart your growth is. North Node is big because it's your purpose in life, but you can also look at your moon. Now, the moon is your emotional needs, where you feel emotionally nurtured and nourished and met. And it's very important. When we feel emotionally uneasy, not nourished, not at home, we can really fully be in our north node either, because we're not fulfilling our emotional needs. And as emotional beings, we need to fulfill those needs in order to be steady, to be balanced, to be nourished, to fill our cup so we can give or serve or do or move towards the north node, move towards our service. Ultimately, we serve through who we are. The main service the main contribution we have is our anchoring of frequency, and that way we anchor it for the collective. We also collectively anchor it with the group of people that we resonate with. There is resonance, we anchor it, and we anchor it for humanity. So that's part of our service, is who we are, just who we are, simply who we are. Without ever anybody knowing about us, knowing about our actions, our service, our contribution to the world, how great we are, and what we've, created. That is just to fulfill ourselves. Wanting recognition is only for ourselves. It's never for the world. So, and what do we get out of people thinking a certain way about us? Nothing. So looking outside for a recognition ultimately is serving the ego. All right. Other parts of the chart, of course, will be if you have stelliums in the chart. Stellium is when you have more than 3-4 planets in a sign or a house typically. Your attention is called there. You're gonna look at it, what sign or house it is in, aspects it's forming, what planets are there, etc., and read it again intuitively, because there is infinite numbers of combination here within that. So sometimes it will mean that you have to anchor that energy. Like for me, for example, is Aries. It could potentially mean that I never anchored Aries very well in previous lives, so I'm giving the extra push to be able to really, get the Aries energy, feel it, know it. For me, it's in 12th house, so that's quite the opposite of Aries energy. 12th house is very introspective, very introverted, very dissolved. It's the last house of the chart. Aries is the first sign of the chart, so there is this, you have to read it intuitively as a language. What does it mean? I put all this Aries energy into 12th house matters. Next, the moon is very important. You can look at your axis, AC, DC, MC, medium coil, and IC, the bottom of the chart. Those are important points in the chart, anchoring points for the chart, beginnings. 0 degree of those points are very important, so you can see where your axis is lay and study them. Again, pay attention to those areas. The next very important thing, as important as the north node, will be to look at your transits, bigger transits, especially Pluto right now is big, because it's completing Capricorn, and because that's what we're feeling on a societal level, is the Pluto, the Uranus-Saturn square is big, was big 2021, and it will continue in the beginning of 2022. We have the Pluto and America's Pluto return, and America kind of defines the economy of the whole world, so it's important for all of us collectively. So Uranus-Saturn, and you can check other transits that you have. For me, I do have a lot of transits right now, and Neptune is entering Pisces. If you have anything in Pisces, and Uranus is in Taurus, are they aspecting? I like conjunctions a lot, but also if you have oppositions and squares, that is also important. Trines are more supportive. If you have an exact trine, you are being blessed there, but if you don't take action, it will just pass the blessing. So it's not gonna, it's not gonna knock on your door and drop something off unless you have taken some form of action towards that achievement, that area in your life, improving or stepping into a new direction. I think those are the most important things to look in a chart. There is so many other things, asteroids, smaller planets. You can hone in on something very unique to your chart or something that you resonate with. So curiosity here is major. No matter how many times I get back in astrology, because I sometimes drop it, it's not my main tool. Um, um, I love my main focuses are health and healing. Yoga is also not even my main tool. Yoga is something that we have to do, move, breathe, move, drink water, etc. But it doesn't mean that it's my main obsession and focus and spiritual tool in life. What's happening inside my inner space, that's the main tool, and learning is something that probably elevates my frequency the most. I can't stop learning. Some people that are not as mindy as an Aries, Mercury in Aries, they say, oh, don't learn so much. It's like, doesn't matter. It's all, oneness is the ultimate knowing. Yes, but when we're here, we do certain things that are in alignment with our strengths. So you can look at your how chart as a whole, where your strong planets are, where you have very positive aspects. Do you have a planet with a lot of trines to it? Well, focus on it as your talents. Use that planet. If, for example, you have to serve in a certain area in your life via your North Node, you can see if the North Node aspects another planet, or if you have a really strong other planet, and use that other planet to bring that talent into your service. In my chart, that works through my 12th house. I have a stellium in 12th house, and it is in Aries with just Venus, which is the ruler of my chart in Pisces, but this is a lot of 12th house energy, lots of planets there, and I use that spiritual sense of the 12th house into the service of the North Node in Virgo in 5th house. 5th house is creativity, being very expressive and creative, and maybe even being putting yourself out there, kind of like an actor or on stage or something like that, because 5th house is Leo. It's more visible, it's more the art, it's more creativity. So you have to do it in a creative way. But North Node is very service, very practical, very tools oriented. So yoga class is practicality towards health, it's service, but in a creative way. I have to always be in a creative way as an Aries, as North Node in 5th house. If it's not creative, I'm gonna not do it. And if I have to repeat someone else's system of movement or knowledge, I'm not gonna do it. And via the 12th house, Mercury is your speech, your craft, what you create, what you write, what you say, what you express. Mars is the energy, how you put energy out, how you take action, etc. All of this in 12th house. So all of this action and energy of the 12th house, which is pure spirituality, spiritual knowledge, spiritual search, dissolving, oneness, etc. All of that serves that 5th house. So look at it from that perspective. You have to look at the chart as a whole, but you also can fragment it as you learn, meaning in the process of learning, you're not going to be able to see it all as one. It's very difficult. I mean, that's the ultimate in seeing reality anyways, to see it all as one, but it takes a lot of lives or existence to even get there. So study the parts, but also interconnect them with the other parts, and eventually also see them as one unique blueprint of who you are now. This chart is for now. It does have relevance to past lives and past talents and even the future, but it is just for now as a human being on Earth, because we're looking from the Earth to the earthly sky, night sky. So the planets are in relevance to the Earth. So as long as you're a human being, embodied, incarnated on Earth, right now through this birth chart, that is relevant to you. There is higher spheres, higher dimensions, higher existences where this type of chart won't really do anything and mean much, because you expand past this particular paradigm. But for now, it's a beautiful guiding system to guide you into an upward spiral from this dimension up into the higher frequencies. That is it. If you have a really strong planet, like say you have a massive conjunction, many people do. Say some of the outer planets is conjunct your moon, some of the other planets is conjunct your ascendant, some of the outer planets or asteroids or something is conjunct some of your other access points. You can pay attention to that also. For me, for example, I'm giving you as an example because I pulled my chart up, so I'm just looking at my chart. It's the best thing to do in astrology is study your chart, because you know yourself very well, and your goal is to know yourself even better. That's the whole goal of spirituality, is know thyself. By knowing thyself, you obviously expand as a being. So Lottie is back. If she starts banging on the door, I'll turn the camera off. I have Chiron on my ascendant, so that is a healer, wounded healer. So from my inner wounds, I learned how to serve in a healing way. My obsession has always been healing. I want to be in the healing arts, not hands-on. Never wanted to be hands-on. Some people want to be hands-on. Maybe strong Mercury there, the hands, double Mercury rules the double organs. But for me, it's not the physical healing, it's more the distance healing. Yoga, maybe distance herbs, distance, something like that, distance, but healing. So the Chiron on the ascendant is, that is my identity. That is my I. Moon is on the MC, on the career. So you see me as a moon person, as someone that is nurturing, right? You see, even though it's moon in Capricorn, which is a very sturdy moon, you see me as a moon person. That is how the world sees you is your MC, top of the chart. Then I do have that is it for now. I'm not gonna complicate it furthermore, but those are your main points. Stelliums, transits, North Node, major conjunctions in the chart, current transits, the transits right now in these times, because the times are so charged that you want to see where those planets are in your chart, what they're doing to your planets, natal planets, and how they're aspecting them, and what area in your career they're moving. Sorry, not career, of your chart they're moving, because Pluto is through my career. So maybe major realizations there, which I have been having. You can look at your part of fortune also to see kind of blessings in that area. You can explore further out asteroids and other planets, but learning is endless. You're never gonna see the end of your chart or everything about your chart. No matter how many times you look and how many years you study it for, it will continue to expand. That's the beauty of astrology, no end to it. It's not a simple science where you can totally get to the bottom of it. Not at all. That is it. There is also other things to study within astrology further down the line besides transits, but learn the basic language of astrology, because you'll get a lot out of that. And further dive into anything that draws you in, pulls you in, into your ruling planet. Like say you have Neptune on the ascendant. Okay, you have to study Neptune. If you have North Node conjunct something, bring your attention there. Also, you can study synastry charts, the charts that you form with other people, and see how you enhance each other. But via where your planets fall in the other person's houses, and what conjunctions you form, what aspects you form, because you pull out of each other energy that is dormant. So when you connect with another person and you have a planet that is not very strong in your chart, but their sun is on that planet, they're going to activate your planet. And in that relationship, you're going to have that charge. Or if their sun steps on top of your medium quali, on the top of your chart, your career, they're going to enhance your career while you are with them. You're going to be pushed in your career. You're going to have a lot of charge in your career. So that shows you that we're not, separate units. We can work together. We're all interconnected anyways. That is it. I think this is a lot of stuff to study. There is more. But that is just kind of the basic stuff you can pay attention to, or of all the points I mentioned, just one of them will be enough to study for a while, and then another, and so forth. Anything you look at in astrology will open the door to something else you can look at. You're going to open a whole dimension within each and every point in astrology. So portals, the portals. Namaste, thanks for listening, and share anything below that you want to add, or express, and I'll see you soon.